For some reason it did not start automatically. Give me a second. It should come in a second. So that was the core, or some point in time that will be our core focus. We have to be capable enough to understand the business requirement, cloud requirement, give a solution to a customer client. And that is what we hope for. And that is where you'll see here. Let me just go to my other deck here. So again, for people who are joining today for the first time, I'm Sanjeev, right? And I have like 19.3 or 4 years of experience, 19 plus, that's better word, right? And mostly I have worked on the data center consolidation, data center, merger, okay? Then data center decommissioning. So most of my life, I worked with the VMware, various VMware product, VMware vSphere, the lab manager was there in 2008 and all, now it's known as vCloud Director, the NSX, and then came to the OpenStack, then came to the public cloud in 2012, late 2011, close to 2012, let's take that. Then 2015 started working parallelly, got opportunity to work with Azure. 2017-18 entered into the world of Google. Briefly, I worked in 2016 with IBM Cloud. Okay? That time it was known as Bluemix. Now also have little bit exposure to the Oracle Cloud, little bit, but never worked actually. POC and all I have done. Then a couple of teaching I have done for the Alibaba, but never actually worked on them. So there's two things, right? When you teaching is different, actual work experience different. So that is what as of now, and again, yeah, forgot to tell you, I work also extensively on Google, and currently I work for Google as a technology partner enablement team, the product team. The fancy word we got is global mentor. But the core role is to educate their partner, the solution architect, whoever would go into the customer facing role, educate them on the various Google Cloud product, and do a comparative study, make them to understand. Because customer client always they'll talk about Azure and AWS, right? And that time they should be able to defend or correlate how we are different, what is the rival solution, and so on. So that's all about me, okay? Just cutting it short. Moving ahead, right? So parallelly, I love teaching. I have been teaching from 2008, 2008 actually. 2008 officially. Prior to that, I used to teach within company like KT and all. So since 2008, I started teaching. Then I understood the benefit of teaching. Right? Is when, especially when I'm working as a consultant or client-facing role, you have to have everything on your tongue. Right? As soon as customer asks, you need to reply it. Always you can buy time. You can always tell them we'll get back to you. But imagine a situation customer has certain question and you start responding or giving him or her solution. The confidence is different. And for that reason, I teach, because when I teach, okay, so here I'm able to do all my R&D lab, because I cannot do that in production. So that is the reason why I teach actually. And of course we earn money, no hiding it, because of nothing is Sevak, right? Because we all have companies to run and employees to pay. And second thing, I ran couple of free. People take it for granted. They don't give the value. When you pay from your pocket, you'll attend every classes. You'll be serious. You know this story. So coming back, so indirectly, I was telling you, whenever you get chance to teach, always teach. Be it your cousin, be it your friend, or you want to become a professional teacher, does not matter. Teaching helps you a lot in the world of the changing technologies, like you are part of DevOps, or full stack developer, or cloud, or security, because this domain is changing very fast. So when you teach, naturally you have to study yourself, then only go to the session, right? So this will always keep you on your toes. You'll know what is happening in the market, and because of that, okay, you'll be always ready with any customer, any client across the globe you meet. You have different level of confidence, and that's another reason why I suggest everyone to teach if possible. Right? Whenever possible, teach. Learn first. To teach first, you have to learn, right? So that was the yarn for the day. Okay? Let's move on. So like yesterday, we have talked. Okay? So yesterday, we wanted to start from the AWS. We were talking about the AWS Solution Architect Associate. And I received like 6, 7 mail yesterday, right? Like people asking the link, right? So I have shared you. Also, what I'm doing parallelly. Give me some time. So just letting you know. So I'm trying to arrange everything in, like I maintain a channel for YouTube channel for what you call Webson. Okay. And that is when I'm trying to maintain everything in one place. And sooner or later you'll get this one. So if I go to the YouTube, I'll just guide you. I'm arranging from yesterday night. Then I thought, okay, why to share this, what you call things one by one. So let us be smart. I right? And I thought, okay, let me change my approach. So this is what I'm doing. So rather than me sharing you link, I'll tell you go here and watch. So I'm creating a series. So if you see here, playlist I'm creating. So it's not all content is mine. A lot of content I use from the product company like Google, who would know better than Google, AWS, who would know better than AWS. And they run event every year. Like I started yesterday, but point is for AWS event last year, November, which happened. Let me just open this one. If you see here in this AWS, this is what I started creating from yesterday night. So I'm mixing all, okay? So whichever, so what I have to do, I have like every year, like close to 800 session they ran. So I have like close to 2 or 3,000 sessions. So from there, I'm watching whichever I feel is going to help you to learn something that I'm clubbing them here. And again, I'll modify. So in the end, you should not be overburdened with too many videos and all. So I'm just trying to customize, have a curated content so that you go here and learn. The reason, if you remember yesterday, what did I say? My class, right? I focus more on the lab, but theory who will teach, right? So theory, this is where I'll tell you, watch this video. For example, like today, right? I'll tell you watch 4 or 5 video by next week can come. So when you watch those videos, right, and when we meet the next Saturday, then we have something to discuss. Maybe when you were watching that video, you had 2, 3 question concern, write it down. Sooner or later, you'll be added to a WhatsApp group. Or if you can, you will forget, nobody remembers. Either write it down or put the question in the WhatsApp group. Let's discuss that. So in WhatsApp virtual group, and suppose one person asks a question, imagine Satish, just random example, and Jitesh knows, just random example. Answer it. If you're wrong, I'll come and correct you. Don't get offended. But again, attempt. Nobody cares if you're wrong. It's not, you're going for interview. Point is when you are helping someone, you'll research, you'll Google. That is what I have to cultivate. The hungerness to search that topic. Googling also is technique, right? So you have to go and find the right answer from Google. And when you are finding an answer, you know so many related topics. Eventually, you're learning without putting in some extra effort, and that becomes fun actually. So that's what I want to teach you parallelly. So point is here, this is where I'll arranging all the videos, right, which I would want you to watch and come. Also, whatever session we take, that also I'll upload here. Right? So that also you can watch. But what I suggest everyone, watching video is good, but always I'll suggest if you are really serious, attend every session and do lab parallelly. So I'll go slow. There's nothing like we are not going to miss a train or bus or plane or whatever. So we would be slow, and that's the reason I take 10 weekend, right? Because I have to focus more on hands-on. And like I tell, like 30 to 40% people who come to my session are already certified. They have certified. I know in this session also like 2, 3 people have done the certification 1 year back, 1.5 year back. But why people who have done certification come to session? Because they're struggling to change the job. Everybody has, a lot of people have certification. You would know, you will see in your circle. But they're still doing the old crap work. They're not happy, they're cribbing, but they're not able to switch. Because see, certification is one thing. Clearing interviews is another thing. Okay? Excelling in that cloud job is another thing. So we have to treat them separately. We have to know what to do. How do we better utilize our time? How do we succeed? That will be one of the core motto. So that is what we would be focused. So enough of Gyan. This I'll keep on modifying, curating, and this is what I'll give you. Okay? Like yesterday I was telling, and here also I'll add the topic for network. Like I'll add one more playlist where I'll mention, prerequisite for the cloud, so that every video you have in one place and you don't have to, go here and there. So that is what I'll use. Right? Now moving back here, if I go back. So yesterday we wanted to talk about the AWS capacity planning. Any customer client that you would work some point in time. If you're a senior resource, you need to work with the customer client, help them to build the infrastructure in AWS cloud, migrate their workload. Workload, I mean server, it can be containers, it can be database, correct? It can be ERP solutions like SAP. So they want to migrate the application, enterprise application, which they were running on their own data center to AWS cloud some point in time. So we need to know the capacity planning. How much money? Imagine you have a customer, just for sake of example, imagine you have a Flipkart, just random story, and you want to help Flipkart to move to AWS, just random story. And they're telling they are already running in Azure. Like certain percentages they are hosted in Azure. Actually, they are, and certain percentage they are hosted in their Bangalore data center. Just random story. And now you're hand holding them, and they want to have a multi-vendor, multi or dual vendor cloud policy because they don't want to depend only on Microsoft, single point of failure. So they have decided, management has decided that, okay, we have hosted like 70% in Azure, 30% on-premise. Now we want to switch 10 or 20% from Azure to AWS, redundancy purpose. So ratio would become 30% on-premise, 40% maybe what you call the Azure, and 30% maybe, or 20% maybe AWS, 10% maybe, Google. Just random story. So that they are able to meet the redundancy, right? They are able to divide the workload across multiple cloud. Now, as of now, we are the expert, or you all are the expert who would work with the customer. What we need to do? First, before you start migrating, you will have a call, design call, right? You need to get the permission for approval for the hosting resources in AWS cloud. Now you know nothing is free. There's no free lunches. There will be cost. So before in the design or initial, customer information gathering session, right? The initial discussion that we do with the customer, information gathering session, where we collect data from customer, how many applications they want to move, whether they are moving from third-party cloud on-premise or they are building a new setup in AWS cloud. What is the requirement? Then we understand the customer requirement. Now imagine for a second, they're telling we will build a new application in AWS cloud, new application from ground zero. Okay? But they are telling we'll not host in Azure or on-premise. We'll pick the AWS. And they want to use the cloud native solutions. So when you talk about cloud native solution, basically we are talking about managed services or PaaS solutions that the cloud vendor has to offer. In my story, AWS, like you have the RDS, database as a service, then you have the Lambda, then you have storage service, and so on. So they want to pick AWS, perfect. And couple of servers also they want to run. Right? Couple of database also they want to run in manage. So we have to do, and now they are telling what will be the cost. So they are telling you about the plan, but before you kick start, first you need to give the costing. More or less, you want to open a office in Bangalore, you will tell, okay, I need 10, I'll have 300 employees, I need, 2-floor cubicle, then isolated finance team and all. Then you have to talk about the costing. How much fund you have? Same logic here. So customer will tell their technical requirement, business requirement, then technical requirement. Then we have to do the capacity planning. How much cost would be required for them to run that XYZ solution in AWS cloud? So capacity planning is always, the number one priority. When you think for a second, you are architect. So from architect point of view, capacity should be, or the costing should be the first, concern or awareness that you need to have. Sometimes mostly you'll not, but you should be aware. Typically the costing and all is done by senior folks, architect and above, but imagine you are already there. If not, someday you will reach there. So why not understand now? So this is when I'll go to the AWS pricing calculator. So when I go to this AWS pricing calculator, and here, so you do, there's no hidden secret or something. Now AWS has made it public, more transparent. So you are a customer, you want to know what will be the estimate to run your XYZ application in AWS, or you want to use certain services in AWS, how much money you need to spend. And that is when you can do the costing in advance. So there'll be no surprise factor. Only things which will get added will be the network egress traffic, right? The network bandwidth will be surplus because network they cannot guess. So here now what I'll do, I'll come to this particular place, and if anyone can confirm today, I try to fix it, but some reason that I was not. I don't know whether it's happening or not because Websun implies they can. So can any one of you confirm? Do you see the chart? Not in my screen, actually in your chart. Do you have the access to the
Hi,
chart?
Sanjeev.
Yeah, hi.
It is still disabled.
Oh, okay, no problem. So sorry for that. What I'll do now, like today's, like how I sent a mail. Again, I'll send a mail to all of you with all the links that I'll be talking today. Some reason I have to, it's allowing me to allow chat within the org Websun, but somebody is coming, joining from non-Websun is not allowing. So I'll have to just Google what to do with this. So I'll come with that solution, but do not worry, whatever the link which I'll share, I'll consolidate and mail each and every one of you one copy. Okay, so this capacity planning or the capacity calculator. So when we talk about, so let me go here, let me just note. Okay, so if I go to here, AWS, okay. So that everything that I talk is maintained here. So when you talk about the AWS capacity calculator, this helps you to generate the estimate of your costing, the service that you want to run. And you don't have to depend on third parties, given free by AWS, and it can be accessed by anyone. So when I go to this estimate, create estimate, okay, and now you have to pick, you are sitting in front of customer, or whether virtual or physical, then give the link to the customer, ask them to fill it, because they know because they would know how many servers they want, where they want to deploy. So either they fill it or you ask and fill it in front of them to be more transparent, right? So there's no hidden or hide and seek game. So money is something we have to be more transparent nowadays. So here I'll ask the customer what they're planning to host. So they're telling as of now they have a tier 3 application, just a random story. Okay? So they have tier 3 application running as a cluster. So they have 3 node for the web server, 3 node for the app server, and database cluster, MS SQL database cluster, just a random story. And that is what they would want to move. Or they want to build a tier 3 application from ground zero in AWS cloud. Let's take about ground zero from scratch, new application. So, but they want to run from VM as of now. We could run it from Kubernetes cluster, the beanstalk and all, but as of now they are telling they want to run from virtual machine, which is known as EC2, elastic compute. We'll talk about those terms and all. So this is the requirement. Now imagine the second requirement is, okay, where the customer is from. Imagine they are Indian customer, just a random Flipkart Indian customer. So they would want to host within Mumbai or Hyderabad. So let me go and pick the region because the cost differ from one region to another region. There's no uniform because the hosting charges, the power, the network cost that you will get in India would be different from Singapore or any other country. So country wise or region wise, so pricing will change. So it's not universal in nature. So let me go and pick Mumbai, the Asia Pacific, right? Or Asia South one, which is Mumbai. So I know customer is sitting in India. He want to host nearest to the user, which is Mumbai or Hyderabad. Let's take now Mumbai, the region. Now, what service do you want to run? Like AWS has multiple service. What service you will be building in the AWS? So I'll go and select as of now, as per the customer, they are telling they want VM. So I'll select EC2. Just then again EC2 comes. This is the elastic compute, basically virtual machine. So I'll tell yes, I need EC2. Now it will ask you how many EC2. Okay, you need EC2, but how many EC2? So region is fine. Then how many the you have again two things. Shared tenancy. What does shared tenancy means? Shared tenancy means that the end of the day, the data center that you have in AWS, they also have the hardware, blade server, rack server, or water server. So that blade server they have virtualized by hypervisor like KVM, Zen, and nowadays even VMware, okay? Because they have partnership with VMware. So once they have virtualized the hardware, now if you select the shared instance, which means your VM is running from shared hardware. You don't have dedicated. Then you have dedicated instance only meant for you. Then also you have bare metal, dedicated host, what you want. So where do you want to run? Okay? What kind of setup? So depending on cost will go high. So I'll select as of now, I need, shared instance. It will be cheaper. But I'm telling in the same hardware or hypervisor, multiple VM, other customer VM can run. Anyway, virtually I'm isolated from them. Then again, it's asking you what OS do you need? So here you have option Windows, Linux, right? Windows with XYZ component, SQL, and what you want. So you have options. So if I select Windows or Red Hat, again you will get two options. Bring your own license. If you own the license, you can configure the same license so that you don't have to pay for the license again. Or you can buy the license, pay as you go, which means you are paying for hosting the server plus the license of that Red Hat or Windows, the OS license. So in my story, I'm going with, just for sake of example, I'm picking a Red Hat Enterprise, just a random story. Now, this is asking you this server that you want to install, okay, how many? I'm telling I want 3 server. I'll configure here Apache Tomcat Apache. This will behave like a web server. So I need 3 server. Okay. I'll take 6, 3 for the web service, 3 for the app. So I'll take here 6. In 3 server, I'll configure Tomcat Apache. Another 3 server, I'll install maybe PHP or Python something. The stack, which language you'll be using. So PHP, for example, I'll be using. So then again, it's asking you how frequently the server spike or the workload on the server would run. So I'm telling constant usage. It's a production server. So I could select here different weekly spike, monthly spike, daily spike traffic. I'm telling constant usage, which means utilization is constant. Production server, it will be 24/7. It will be having constant usage. I'm good. Then again, I'll get option to select how much CPU, how much RAM. What is the computing power you need? I'm creating 6 server. That's fine. But how much CPU? How much RAM? Like if you go to SP Road in Bangalore or Nehru Place in Delhi or Amazon or Flipkart, you want to buy a laptop or desktop, you need to have configuration. CPU, RAM, hard disk, network, right? Same logic here. That's fine. You want to deploy 6 server with Red Hat. Question is how much configuration you want to give. Imagine I want 2 processor and 8 GB RAM. Just let me search that. So if I pick 2 processor and 8 GB RAM, always I have option. Okay? So I can pick here 2 processor and 8 GB RAM. So this is my business requirement, just random story. So I'm telling I need my server with, you can select here, then it will give you the model. Instead, these are the name. So I selected here 2 CPU, 8 GB RAM, right? And network also you have option. What speed you need. So I'm telling up to 5 gigabit. Then cost will increase, always remember that. So I'm taking this server with 2 CPU, configuration 8 GB RAM, and speed can go up to 5 Gbps per NIC. I'm good. And then I'll select save. Right? So I selected that. Now, so 6 server is there. Now, what is the next component? Next component, I need database. So I'll select here, we do have RDS, relational database, imagine. I want to run Postgres SQL or Microsoft SQL. So I would need relational database. Do not panic as of now. Again, I'll be teaching you the database why we need database, what are the various type of database, SQL, no SQL, key value, time series, document, etc., etc. We'll do that. But today, just here like story. So I'm telling, okay, I'm building an N3 or tier 3 application. So 3 server, I'll deploy Tomcat Apache web service. 3 server, I'll install the PHP or Java, whatever can, for my application to run. And then I'll have database. I'm creating LAMP stack, Linux, Apache, MySQL, PHP, just random story. So I'll install MySQL. So for that, I have RDS. So I'll pick RDS. Okay. Again, see, you have RDS for SQL, right? So I'm or RDS for MariaDB, what you want. So I'm telling I need RDS for MySQL because I'm building a LAMP stack, Linux, Apache, PHP, MySQL. So I'm telling this, I need this database as a service. Then it will again ask you what configuration. Give me a second. So I'm telling one database I'm building, I'm fine. And configuration, let it be like, CPU 40 CPUs, vCPUs, I'm good. Let it take. And utilization on demand 100% monthly. Then what should be the size of your database? So I'm telling I need 100 GB. Just random example. Size of database should be 100 GB and it should be using SSD. So this is what I select. Once I do that, then I click on, then again, do you want free tier? Then how you want to have the backup? Because we are talking about database, backup has to run. Critical thing, okay? Backup database is always critical for any company, big or large. So I'm telling, okay, then I'll select save and add this service. Now, if you recall, what do I have? So I'll go to the view summary, go to details. This is my cost estimate. So this is the yearly charges, okay, total 12 month. Now I can customer, I'm in front of customer, I can tell them the detail. Right? I can tell, so I in front of them, I created this record or this particular costing. If you want, you can go to this particular place and you can share it or you can export it. So if I export to the PDF, just for sake of example, so I'm good and click OK. Then I'm exporting to PDF, then I can work. Right? This is the PDF, right, which I'll do, and just give me a second. And let me just go and keep in the desktop. And when I go to my desktop, just give me a second and let me bring that. Now, I did in front of you, okay? Now, let me imagine you were my customer client. Now, I'll open in front of you, okay? And now we'll talk. This is the cost estimation we did. For this many server, this was the cost. And you can see for the RDS, this was the cost. Okay? So this way we can do the cost calculation. I just showed you the VMs and I showed you the database. We can do it for the Kubernetes cluster. We can do it for the network. We can do it for storage. We can do it for microservices, the various services that we have. So point here is this is very much important. So any customer facing role that you would work, this will be the one of the first tasks that we do. Because any customer would want to know how much money they need to spend month on month or quarter on quarter or yearly. Because that is when they'll get the budget allocation from their CTO, CFO, whoever they are. Right? You do not get budget allocation every week or every month. Does not work that way. So to propose your CTO, CFO, you should know how much budget you need for your cloud hosting or cloud charges. So this is important. And just now you saw, okay, it was very easy, straightforward, and just be aware that not too fancy stuff, but you should know we do have option to do the cost calculation, or you can call capacity planning, right? Or you can call project estimate. So whenever you want to do a project estimate cost calculation, that is when this becomes handy. So this is something which you all should be aware of. Right? If you are 8 years, 10 years, 15 years and above, and sooner or later you are going to work with the customers, client or business vertical, they would ask you how much money. In all the design call and all, always you'll be asked what will be the cost. They ask you all the time. So awareness is required. It's not part of your course, but you should know this. And along with this, one more thing I have. Now imagine by God grace, you do really well, you learn really well, you complete the certification, then you apply for job, cloud as a solution architect. You join a new company, or within your company, you are allocated to a new project, new customer. And there you are known as the cloud expert because of the interview, the feedback that you have got. People are really impressed and you have the knowledge. Now, what happens here? One of the core expectation from us, the senior cloud engineer, architect, SME, whatever you call yourself, is we need to reduce cost. So the cost optimization is one of the key tasks given to us. So people like yesterday we were talking, there are a lot of people who are 13 years, 15 years, 10 years plus experience. Now, wherever you join, whether you were Java, like remember yesterday, Selva, I guess, right? Java expert, right? Now he's joining as a cloud, full stack cloud developer. Now, one of the role he has to do the costing for the new project for that XYZ customer. Also, other requirement would be he has to assess the existing environment. So one of the requirement would be we need to design new project in the AWS cloud. Another requirement would be wherever we go, there'll be already an existing setup. We have to go and do the assessment of that existing setup and give the customer, client or business vertical option to optimize the cost, save money without impacting production. Okay. You cannot just shut down the server and tell you are saving money. Not that way. You have to optimize the resource. You have to optimize the costing. Somewhere they'll complain, this is deployed, but there's a performance problem. Then you have to fine tune that application. How did they build it? And that is where we have to again know all the entire ecosystem that yesterday I was talking about. So in long run, you have to understand the entire ecosystem of cloud, whatever cloud you work. But in day one, you cannot do everything. So we go step by step. And not every domain you can become expert. So you have to be expert in one, master of one, and jack of all. That is the world we live in. Earlier we used to tell, okay, master of one, jack of none kind of cut or whatever, or jack of all master of none. Now things have changed. Master of one at least you should be, and jack of all means medium level knowledge on all the surrounding technologies. So that is something I generally promote, and that will be required. Now the next thing which I'll be sharing with you, the AWS cost optimization. This is like very common, not only AWS, whether you go to Google or whether you go to Azure, one of every cloud, we have our own optimization approach. Right? How do you optimize? So there are certain best practice given by each vendor, in our case, AWS. So AWS is giving you certain best practices. And best practice does not come in one day. Okay? It comes from 10, 15 years of experience in that domain. The feedback they get from the customer, the mistake they make, from there they'll learn and make a best practice, do and don'ts. So this is another which I'll be sharing you post session. Do not worry. Let me keep it handy for you. So this will be the cost optimization. How do I optimize the cost? Imagine a second, the cost estimation was for a customer who is building new environment in AWS cloud. That is when we started doing the costing, the capacity planning. One story. Second story here is customer is telling they are already running in AWS, but they're complaining that they have to pay huge money every month. They want your help or your expertise in reducing the cost. Or some project they're telling, the application is slow. Now, again, they need your expertise to fine tune that particular service, whatever they're running. So that is when we start talking about cost optimization, performance optimization, and so on. Let's first start with the cost optimization best practices. So they're like design principle, right? So they're like design best practices, okay, which we need to focus. Okay, like for example, implement the financial management techniques. Okay, then again adopt to the consumption model. Then again measure the overall efficiency. Okay, this again I'll come to the cost optimization. I'll revisit this topic again in this 9th or 10th weekend, because that is when you'll understand me better, because that is when you will know most of the things I have, no, I would have gone through them. So this I'll repeat once again, right? So this is when we talk about what is the best practice given by AWS or recommended by AWS. Now, more and more companies are putting cloud governance in place. 10 years back, 5 years back, nobody thought about cloud governance. People, I mean, it's not that they did not thought or think, but they did not have the bandwidth. That time their priority was migrate to the cloud. Right? But most companies, either they have migrated or still they're in some phase 1, phase 2 or something. Now, what is important? Cloud governance. You need to have a security best practices. Right? If you don't have governance, you lose the control. Larger enterprises will have 10,000, 20,000 services running in cloud. How do you manage? If you don't have process in place, if you don't have governance in place, how do you manage the life cycle? How do you ensure that things are compliant as per your industry standard, whatever you follow, ISO, FedRAMP, HIPAA, GDPR? We need governance in place. So that is where we would be talking about, right? The cloud governance, the compliances, and along with that, these are the best practices we have. Cloud financial management, creating quotas, alerts, and all. Okay. Then expenditure awareness. Okay. You should be aware about how many servers are deployed in a project or in a business vertical, which are mission critical application, critical production, then test and development. Now you cannot give everyone same priority. Test and development server, just a random example. Your testing teams come, again taking example of Flipkart. In Flipkart, the testing and development team comes Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Just random story. Now, only that time the testing and development server has to imagine an ideal condition where they don't work too much. They work like 9 to 5, like 9 hours or 10 hours max. Now that time I don't want my development server to run 24/7. Not required. I can create a schedule. Development and test server only will run Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. No, I can create a cron job or schedule task. It will power on 8 a.m. shut down by 8 p.m. I don't want people to work too much. So more or less, I'm just running those server, test and dev server only for 12 hours. Because other 12 hours, nobody's working. Why to waste money? So that is when we talk about the expenditure usage awareness. You cannot treat every server equally. Not every server need to run 24/7, 7 days a week. So that is what we focus. Then again, using the cost effective resources. For example, you are using S3 bucket and you are storing data. S3 storage, which I'll discuss later on. So S3 full form is simple storage solution, is the virtual storage given by AWS Cloud, where you can keep your data, unstructured data, object storage, and all you can keep. Now, data, again, when you talk about data, data are multiple type. You can do the tiering of data. Data that you'll access frequently. Then there are data which you'll access infrequent, once in a year, once in a 3 month, once in a couple of years. Example, backup data. Data that used to store in the tape library. When you take a backup of server or application, you'll store it somewhere. In on-premise, we used to store them on tape library. Now, when you are keeping that backup data in cloud, you'll not you'll not access them daily. When you'll access, when your server crashes, then only you'll go and restore from the backup. Maybe once in a blue moon or once in a year. Now that data, if you store in S3, it will become costly. So I'll store in S3 bucket the data which I access frequently. Then I have a cheaper or economical storage solution known as Glacier. Okay? So for data archival, whenever you want to archive data and store economically, we have a solution known as Glacier, and so on. And then you have file system, elastic files share if you want to create. So that is when we talk about the cost effective resource. Don't use for everything premium. Another example can be you are running a server, like imagine you want to do a batch processing, image processing for 2 hours. So instead of running a normal EC2 VM, I'll run a spot VM. Right? So spot VMs are economical VM, right, that we run for non-critical or non-SLA driven service. But only demerit is it cannot run more than 24 hours and it can shut down any point in time. So you're running from a spare resource given by from the AWS data center. So it's cheaper, 90% cheaper than your normal server. So whenever you want to run a lab or task, or some you want to run some script, some job kind of thing, that time I can use the spot EC2 instance rather than the standard EC2 instance. So that is when we talk about cost, how to reduce the cost, and many more. Then optimize the time, get supplies. So this is what everything is here. But again, this I'll discuss towards end, the 9th or 10th weekend. Just letting you know. But this is important. Okay? Now the next thing which is important is the AWS compliance. Any company you work, people would want to know, okay? Because you'll have customer from pharmaceutical domain, the healthcare. You'll have companies from financial organization, like you have customer Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, just random story. Now, when you are helping them to move to the cloud, what strategy you need to have? You cannot have the Flipkart strategy for JP Morgan. It does not work. Different domain altogether. So you have to understand, for banking financial company, like from US, JP Morgan or Wells Fargo, they are, they are financial company or banking from US. They'll have certain governance from financial domain, certain governance given by, the US as a country. They have to follow both. They have to be compliant. And that is when we should be aware about the compliances. The first thing, what are the compliances AWS has? Just give me a second. So I'll some reason get the chart. I was not able to fix the problem. So I'll send each and every one of you, because when you join, I have the list who all have joined. So I'll be sending you post our session, maybe in half an hour. I'll be sending you all the list or link details. You can refer them. Okay. So here we talk about now again why it is required, why you should know about compliance. Again, imagine a situation where you are 10 years, 15 years of experience, and you are helping customer, client, hand holding them to move to the cloud, AWS cloud, I mean. Now, the project manager, program manager, or director would ask you, is AWS FedRAMP compliance? Imagine is US company, FedRAMP somewhere, yeah, very popular nowadays, okay? So they'll ask you, is it FedRAMP compliant? Now, if you're working for a, EMEA company, European company, they'll ask you GDPR, the Data Regulation Act. Now, if you're working for healthcare, okay, HIPAA. If you're working for a payment, like, e-commerce application where they make online payment, where you collect debit card, credit card details, you have to be PCI DSS compliant. So they would ask you always, is AWS compliant on these various compliances? So that is when we can talk. Yes, it is. And you can get all the list of the compliances from here. So if I come down here, let me give you the compliance center somewhere. So here, get validation of requirement you have, then you have the compliance center somewhere. Just give me a second. Let me go to the compliance center. Somewhere I should have the compliance resources. Okay, let me go to here. Yeah. So here you will get details of all the compliance that we have, right? Which all compliance we follow. So all those details you can get from here, industry-wise, right? The privacy, data privacy compliances, okay? Then depending on country-wise, you can find all those compliances from here. Details you can get, right? So this is something, when you go to this compliance, again, when you click on the compliance, again, you have cloud audit, and then compliance overview, compliance resources, right? So you can go through them and whenever you get, hover through them, go to detail. For example, if I want to go to cloud audit, because sooner or later you will be audited. Any company that you work, okay, yearly once or twice you'll have internal auditing and external auditing. Auditors from ENY, KPMG, or PwC, somebody will come to audit your environment. So we should be aware about auditing. Again, for senior folks, people 8 years, 10 years above, these are other things which you should be aware. Any company you work, that you get audited, okay? And naturally, junior resource will be not, responsible for that. But people senior, 8 years, 10 years, you should know the auditing. For auditing to happen, what are the things we should be ready? So before, imagine tomorrow in my company, external auditor, PwC or ENY is coming. Tonight, my whole team will not sleep, or maybe from yesterday, we are checking day and night whether we are compliant or not. We're running, so all the loophole we are trying to fix it. If not, tomorrow we'll have, no, we'll become non-compliant. So this is the headache of every company that you work, maybe once in a year or twice in a year. Some companies every quarter. So auditing happens. How do you manage, right? How do you ensure that you are audited regularly? And also another thing you have to understand in cloud, if you do not audit, forget about being non-compliant. That's secondary thing. Now imagine you are following security, cloud security best practice. You are able to secure your APIs. You are able to secure your VMs, the network, the database, the containers, everything you are able to secure. But how do you know that it's secure? You have to audit it, correct? Like for example, like I eat healthy food. I go to gym, yoga. I wish I should. I'm just talking. I never do anything, any one of them. Imagine for a second, I eat healthy food. I go regular to the yoga or play tennis or badminton, whatever. But still, I need to do a yearly checkup, health checkup, go to doctor and check whether what is the health track or record of for me. Or if I'm more cautious, I'll buy some what you call fitness watch, like from Samsung, Apple, whatever. So I can track all my heart rate. I'll keep on checking my weight. I'll keep on checking my glucose. I mean the diabetics, whether I'm diabetic or not, blood pressure and all. So I need to keep on auditing my health. Then only I'll know something's wrong. As soon as I detect something's wrong, I can take a, what you call proactive action. So it's all a proactive approach is always there better than reactive, right? Reactive means already it's too late. Same logic here. When you have a proper auditing in place, if you run every week, every month, if you see something's becoming on going out of your, trying to become non-compliant, you can raise the red flag and coordinate with the various team, ask them to fix it. So auditing has become very important in every cloud. This is a universal best practice, not only with AWS. Because kind of attack that we see in today's world is huge. You know, last year what happened in India, correct? We, most of you know, we have AIMS. It was down for 3 weeks, 23 or 24 days actually, more than 3 weeks. Ransomware attack last year November actually. It went down in November and second week of December it came back. And I know a couple of people working there from TCS payroll. And they told they had to restore everything from the backup because, and for 3 weeks entire hospital was had to go back on pen and papers because nothing was accessible. So point here is this kind of attack is increasing day by day. This is not going to decrease. The security challenge that we would see would increase threefold, fourfold, or tenfold in coming years. Not going to reduce. But same time, we have to build a environment, manage environment. And now earlier, we used to talk about DevSec. Now we are connecting. I work with Google where we work with the developer. We are telling when you are developing, writing code, in code, you have to think about security. So earlier we should talk about DevSec while deploying, we should think about security. Now things are changing, right? So you have to know what is happening in the world. So now developers are groomed on the security. So when they write a code, they know all the bugs that can come. So right from the code itself, security is implemented. And of course, in DevOps, DevSec is coming again. You have security team 24/7 working to secure the infrastructure. So again, that is where the auditing becomes very, very much important. Right? So what is the new? How do you audit depending on the industry? So that industry specific auditing, again, not one set fit all. Industry to industry, things changes, compliance changes. So you have industry-wise auditing in place. Okay? This is again important. So whenever you are learning, read just like FYI as of now, awareness as of now. So go to the compliance here again, spend some time on the Cloud Audit Academy, then compliance overview, compliance resources. And let me talk about the shared responsibility model. Every cloud, any public cloud that you work at would have this responsibility model. What do you mean actually? So shared responsibility model means like certain things will be taken care by AWS, certain things we have to take care. For example, You stay in a gated community or society, correct? You have purchased your home in Bangalore, Prestige, or Salarpuri, or anything. Just remember, there are so many, correct? So you have purchased a apartment, or you live in a villa, gated community, or in Delhi, you live in DLF or somewhere. Imagine. Now there are certain responsibility of the society. Okay? Then there's certain responsibility of yours. Imagine what was the responsibility. I stay in. Imagine for a second. Okay? Now I stay in Prestige. Just random example. Society. Now, what is the society's responsibility? They have the boundary across the society and they have 2, 3 gates. Every gate you have the security guards and they'll check who is coming, who is going, who is visitor. They'll note everything. So securing that society was the job of this security guards and this society. Now imagine inside society, I have left my door open. Somebody comes in and steal my phone. Who is blame? No, whom should you blame? You cannot blame the society people, correct? Or society. It was my mistake. Securing my house was my responsibility. So point is, it's a shared responsibility to secure certain things by the society people, certain things by people who are living in that, like me. Same way, when you talk about public cloud, the physical stack would be secured by AWS. Why? Because you are running from their data center. Right? Now I'll talk about how many data centers they have, but okay, let me go for a second. So when I talk about the AWS region, okay, let's talk about how many regions they have. So if I go to this AWS region as of today, see how many regions they have. Okay? So as of today, when you see the region list, okay, so if I go to this particular place, these are the various regions they have in North America. These are the regions. Okay? Coming, red one is coming soon, green are already up. So these are the regions in North America. You can go and see the list from below. Right. So here if I, okay, let me go to the, just give me, let me go to the global infrastructure. Yeah, this will be better. So as of now, 31 region they have globally. And each region, basically, most region will have 3 zones. Virginia has 6, couple of region will have more. And couple of region which are new would have as of now 1 zone. Gradually, it will become more and more zone. Okay? Point is that isn't down to the mass 33, 31 into 3. Okay? Will not be equal because couple of region has more than 3 zones. So coming back here, this is the area global map. You see, this is the global map where AWS has presence as of today. Yet Auckland has come but not live. Red one means coming soon. Not they have not gone live. So they are into final testing mode and all. So green one means they're live. So in Australia you see 2. In India, if you see 2, the Hyderabad, Mumbai. Right? Same way, if you see in here, Singapore you have, then Jakarta you will have. Right? Then again, couple of them are coming in Malaysia, Thailand. Then again, you see in China, couple of places in China, 2 places, then one in Hong Kong, 2 in Japan, one in, South Korea. Right? So this you have, then again, a couple of places in Europe, one in South Africa, Cape Town. Then again, you have in Brazil, then couple of places in US, right? And one in Canada, right? And again, couple of more places in US. And again, the other one coming in Canada soon. So this is the current scenario. So point here is all the physical infrastructure. So let me just keep it handy so that when I send you mail, this one also I'll send you. So these are the physical infrastructure coming back here. So the physical infrastructure, the Mumbai data center, Mumbai region, they'll have 3 zones. Each zone they'll have data center. The Hyderabad. So the physical infrastructure, the hardware they have, RAID server, rack server, the storage system, the network, physical network component is their headache. We as a customer, we don't have access to them. So protecting the physical stack is the responsibility of AWS. Right? So entire physical, the property wherever they are running that data center is their headache, not my headache. How to protect, how to manage, they would take care of that. So if I go here, one more thing I wanted to show you, let me go to the AWS somewhere. I should have the data center. Just give me a second. Somewhere I should have, just give me a second. So if I go to the global infrastructure, somewhere they will tell me the data center. So just give me a second. Or let me just go and directly go to the AWS data center. So if I go to the data center, just to give you homework, to know about how their data center looks like. So this is how their data center would be. The entire area they have taken. It's a physically protected. You can see a barbed wire or something, right? So they'll have one zone. Entire area is purchased by them. Inside that, they'll have the data center, the cooling, the power, alternate solution, everything they'll maintain themselves. And then again, couple of videos which you have here, you can watch through, take it, go through them, understand how the AWS data center looks like. So point here was protecting this entire property, physical protection. Whose job? AWS job. They're building, right? They are supposed to protect. Now protecting the hard, that's what here they'll explain you. Not everybody can access data center. Even if you work for AWS, does not mean that you will have access to data center. Only the DCO, data center operation team, only can log into or access the data center, not everyone, right? So very less people only can enter to the data center. Again, they're talking about what is the infrastructure layer, how do they protect it? And they're using the sustainable energy. Then they're talking about their, how do they protect the data inside data center, right? So these are fun actually. Whenever you get time, just spend some time. Read like a news, nothing. But at least you will know what is happening. So point was this physical protection is the job of AWS, protecting the entire physical component, the hardware, the building, the power supply, the physical security, and so on, the firmware and all. Now, what is our responsibility as a customer? When you deploy a virtual machine, securing the OS is your or our responsibility, I mean. So any company, if you have worked and you have deployed this server, what do? You do the OS hardening. You have to harden the OS. What it means so that it does not get attacked by third party or internet. So any server that you deploy, virtual server or physical server, we have to do hardening. Hardening means typically we customize the OS. We disable all the service which is not required. Disable all the ports. Only open the port what is required. Right? Again, fine tune the OS for better performance so that it will perform better. Second, make the OS thin print. Remove unwanted features not required. It will slow down. Second thing, like for example, suppose you have a car, but you are going for a race. You have to customize your car, make it lightweight, correct? More or less similar to that. More secure, you have to build some extra protection. Similar way. So we have to do OS hardening, then database hardening. So all the software level OS hardening, database hardening, virtual network hardening, configuring the firewall, okay? Using the NAT gateway, okay? Not giving the public IP to servers, all things, protecting the virtual stack, virtual network, anything that you deploy inside the AWS cloud is your responsibility. You create a server inside AWS cloud, you give public IP, you give a lousy username password, somebody hacks in. If you blame AWS, blaming is easy, correct? But you know it's wrong. It was your problem, your fault. So protecting the OS, having the strict password policy and all, enabling the multi-factor authentication, those are our job, our responsibility. AWS would guide you, give you the best practices. They give you all the services, but using or not using is our choice always. So remember, when you talk about cloud, always is a shared responsibility, collective role or job. Right? It's a collaboration between customer and the vendor, the AWS. So that is something which we have to understand. Now, what we do when you talk about the OS hardening, just give me here. When you talk about the OS hardening, just HARDNI. Okay? So when you talk about the OS hardening, I have here one link which I really liked. Yeah, this is the one. As there are so many, but I love this blog. So they're explaining, again, this link I'll be sharing you. They're talking about the hardening. See, you have server hardening, then software application hardening, okay? Operating system hardening, okay? Database hardening, network hardening, and so on. Then they're explaining you about each hardening. Why do we do that? Any data that you store should be encrypted. Data that you send, okay? So data should be encryption should happen in rest. data encryption should happen in transit. When data is going from one system to another system, it should be encrypted. It cannot send them in normal format or unencrypted. If somebody hacks in, then so those are the best practice. We talk about data encryption and all, right? So meanwhile, this also I'll give you as a FYI kind of read so that you'll be aware. And this thing which I'm talking about, right? Even though I'm talking with respect to AWS, but this is universal in nature. Whether you run your service from AWS, Google, Azure, any cloud, or OCI, Oracle Cloud, or Alibaba, or IBM, anywhere, these are the thumb rule, global best practice. We'll have to go with the same. Every cloud, again, you have the shared responsibility. Certain things they are supposed to take care, certain things we are responsible. So this is universal best practice I'm talking about. Right? So this is something which we have to take care of. So I'll pause for a lot of gyan, right? I'll pause for 5 minutes. The reason is I'll take the question now. If not, you would start falling asleep, right? So let's take a question and then we'll start with virtual networking. This was the gyan or the theory thing which I wanted you all to be aware, right? And dig more. And they are not part of a course, by the way. Okay? Just letting you know. So if you're focusing on certification only, then this will not be required. But think about a greater what you call goal. Some point in time you want to become the cloud expert, go and work somewhere as a cloud expert. That is when this knowledge would be helpful, not with respect to your associate certification. If you're writing professional architect, the a solution architect professional track, yes, this will help you. So certain things, right? This whatever we talked about, the cost optimization, the shared responsibility. In large, the question comes on the professional track. Associate one or two can come from the shared responsibility. That's all. Other things will not be. You don't have to be bothered. But think beyond certification. Think about interview. Think about when you join a company, you work, suddenly the customer want your help in cost optimization. Customer want your help in capacity planning or costing. That is when this knowledge would be of help. So let's open for the QA. Yeah, go ahead, please. Any question from anyone? Any question? No question? That's great. But remember, if you let me know the question or concern, then only I can be of help. My problem or limitation is I don't know what you don't know. Right? So you have to let me know what you don't know or where you have problem or concern. No matter how small it is, who cares, right? Here you're not representing whole world or anyone. You are here for yourself, learning. So never worry about how big or small the question is. You have certain doubt or you need clarification, always put forward. Sometimes it can be new for me, right? And I will go back and check it. It's not that I know everything. Right? So that way we all learn. So think in that way. So put forward all the question concerns as and when you have or remember. So anyone, any other question? Assuming, okay, please, thank you. Go ahead.
Well, yes, I mean, I have a question for solutions architecture.
Mhm.
I mean, well, I mean, this is the first time I'm attempting to do it, and I know I wasn't here for the first day, but I mean, should I start with the cloud practitioner, or is doing this okay?
You can directly start with the solution architect associate. Right? Let me go back. Right? So two things. Right? So first thing is let me give you the. Just give me a second. Right? So like I'll mail you the yesterday's recording. I have mailed for most of you, but let me cross check and I'll mail to you today the yesterday's discussion. But again, in brief, when you talk about the AWS certification path, so we do have the certification, various certification for various job role in AWS. So I know the first certification is cloud practitioner. And yesterday I mentioned whatever is there in cloud practitioner, I'm going to teach you here. So now writing the certification, end of the 10 weeks from now or 9 weeks from now, weekend I mean, you would be able to write the cloud practitioner plus AWS solution architect. But remember, this is not pre-requirement, it's optional. The cloud practitioner is meant for whom? Okay, like project manager, team lead, manager, director, semi-technical, fresh graduate. For them, cloud practitioner is the foundation track, semi-technical track. No lab, nothing. It's just semi-technical. But if you have a coupon from your company or you have received from somewhere, you can go and write it. So I'll ensure that when we complete, you should be able to tackle or write this certification plus this one. But in case if you don't have extra coupon or you don't want to spend money, this is not required. You can jump directly to the associate one. Right? So point here is in AWS, there's no pre-requirement. You can directly write the associate. For professional, we'll tell you start here. But for associate, there's no pre-requirement.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just start with this. I'll just do the solutions architecture.
Yeah, that will be
Thank
easier. Yeah, no problem.
Also, do you know any practice websites to do like on
Yep.
live training? I mean, like
Yes.
like
So
websites.
generally I use this one. So generally not now, from the third weekend, right? So I'll make you all use this one, exam topics. So if I go to the exam topics, right? Uh, I'm a big fan of this one. I have been using this again and again, kind of keep on promoting them. But they're good. They have good collections. So you can go and write any certification. I have written all the Microsoft, Cisco, VMware, right? Then again, Google, then Amazon. I have referred them a lot. So if you go to the Amazon certification, and it's a free, means certain percentage is free, not 100%, but free. Even if you use the free one, still you can clear it. So if I go down, this is the certification which you will be writing. Two is gone, is a decommission. So latest one is
Okay.
the AWS Solution Architect Associate 03. So this is what we are targeting. The 02 is gone, decommission. So here you can see the actual dumps, like 422 dumps actual question. And now you can start. So what I request you here, when you start the practice yourself, and this I'll be using from the third week, like every weekend, three to six, Saturday 3 question, I'll make you practice, Sunday 3, or minimum 2. So this way we'll be able to know how we are performing, whether you are able to answer or not. For example, this is one of the question, right? Now, when you read a question and before you click reveal solution, try to answer yourself. Okay, then click on reveal solution. So here you see A, but if you're not convinced why A, then always go with the discussion. And we all can learn a lot from this discussion, community discussion. So the community discussion is really helpful. And always I suggest everyone read this community discussion. It can be time consuming, but believe me, a lot of things will get clear. So I love reading this community discussion. And always when you see an answer, always go with the community voted one. It's not, just to let you know, not always their answer is correct. Always the community answer is correct. A lot of places. So here, this is the way you'll go. Again, see, okay, both matches. Certain places both will not match. So always just keep in mind, community wins all the time, right? So whenever you have confusion, remember, always go with the community voted one, because they'll be 99% time accurate. So this is what we use, or I promote in my classes. And this is real, latest dumps. If you can see here, if you go back, so this dumps was updated on 14th March, like 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks from now. It's quite up to date dumps, right? So people targeting the certification, try to refer them. In long run, right? What I do generally, when somebody writes in my circle, student or someone I know, and I'll just ask them, did you first congratulate them? Then I ask them, did you follow any dumps? If they have, then I'll take that dumps. I request them from them and give to the other people who are planning to write. So that is how I circulate. So point is, not everybody has to spend money. Does not make sense, right? So not every place, that money you can use for something else, to learn something else, do something else. So that is what we do. So with that approach, we'll be planning or targeting our certification goal. Hope that answers your question.
Sanjeev, I
Yeah,
have a question.
yeah,
So
please go ahead.
I have paid for Simply Learn in the past 1 year, and I have completed AWS Solutions Architect Associate level and
Mhm,
AWS SysOps Administrator Associate level. I have
mhm,
submitted an industry project as well on that website,
mhm.
and I'm not yet certified by AWS yet, but certified by the website Simply Learn. So does this? Do you think anything else additional will be covered in this in
See,
this trainings?
see, general. Okay, thank you for that. So, a lot of people in this call are no, they are already certified by
Mm-hmm.
AWS, okay, official
Okay.
certification, but still they come.
Okay.
And I think you are joining today for the first time. Like yesterday, what I was explaining, right? Our goal is different. Certification is one of the
Right.
milestone. We want to achieve that because you all know the cloud certification has huge respect or value in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You get weightage when you are applying for a job. So one of the goal is certification, but that's not the primary goal. Primary goal is to become comfortable in the technology
Okay.
so that wherever you go, right? Now let's break again to three milestone. I divide them into three milestone. First milestone is certification.
Mm-hmm.
Second milestone is the interview. Third milestone is the doing better or thriving in the job that you do, wherever you get, wherever you join as a cloud expert. You have
Okay.
to do better, right? Just getting and surviving is not as best option. We have to redo really well. So
Right.
these are the three milestones which I have. Like couple of people, they're not interested in certification because not everywhere you need certification. So
Right.
they'll have only two milestones, interview and get the job. A lot
Yeah.
of people they are already working in XYZ in cloud only, AWS, but they want to do better because they don't have enough exposure. They may be working as L1, L2,
Right.
where they have basic access,
Correct.
but they want to grow and prove their technical skills, and they want to grow in that same company, whether they want to get the IJP, right? And for that they need to prove their metal knowledge. So that they're different audience. So addressing everyone, I have put this three milestone: certification, interview, and doing better in your job. But core focus is doing better on the job. So if you learn according to doing better in the job, naturally handling certification and interview becomes cakewalk,
Right.
right? Because that is a larger goal. So like yesterday I was telling here, when I'm teaching here, right, if let me go back to the certification path. Sorry, not this one. So if I go back to the certification somewhere I had, okay, or if not, let me go to the AWS certification. So when I come to the AWS certification, what I'm doing, so this is what I'm doing different. So everyone I suggested yesterday, because most of us was new and couple of new to cloud. So I told you, even though you have temptation to go to DevOps or any specialization, don't hold your temptation as of now. First, get the cloud job. So when I'm teaching in the AWS Solution Architect, whatever was there in the practitioner, I'm completing. Plus whatever is there in the Solution Architect Associate, I'll be completing. 10%, 10 to 15% from DevOps, I'll be touching because I'll have to teach you CI, CD, right? Git integration, right? Then again, managing your source control, right? Then again, managing your image, Docker image and all, right? Then CI, CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment tools like code deploy and all. Then again, talking on Lambda, cloud formation, not talking, learning and doing lab. Focus would be always lab more. Right? So that is where we are focused. So 10, 20, 10 to 20% from DevOps, I'll pick 5 to 10% from solution architect professional. Like today, things which I was talking about, most of them were from here. Best practices and all, design, best practice, cost optimization. From here, I'll pull. Then again, few things from developer. Again, developer, same thing will get, come into picture. The cloud formation related stuff, right? Then again, managing the CI CD will come into picture, right? Then source control will be coming to picture. The SDLC, lifecycle management, will come into picture. 5 to 10% from developer track. Then 20 to 30% from the system operation track, right? How to manage your operation in cloud. You have deployed the resources. How do you manage? I'm going to take it from here. Then a couple of few things from network security best practice, because whatever you do in the world, security has become the main concern. So this is the how we are focusing. And that's the reason you see or of my sessions are like 10 weekend, right? First weekend is like kind of introduction briefing, so I exclude them. And hence I tell always 9 weekend, but collectively you see it's a 10 weekend. So
Okay.
this weekend I'm not even calculating because first weekend is always about setting the expectation, clearing the doubt. So always I start from the third session, the second weekend. Right?
Yeah.
So total 9 plus 1, 10 weekend is the target. And again, in this target, I can be only successful. I mean, we all. My success depends on you. The more successful you become, I become a successful teacher, right? Because that's the only the report card I can show to anyone. Okay, this he was my student doing well. Right? That's the only record. Of course, we earn money, no doubt about that. But how do somebody rate me as a good teacher when my students are doing better? Right? So we all can be only successful. What I mean when we spend time in lab, hands-on. Now, good thing about the COVID, only good thing about the COVID was a lot of people learned a lot. They started learning, they cultivated the learning habit. So, but point same time, the demerit of that is what happened. People only went through the Udemy, Cruel site or YouTube channels, by-hearted by-hearted the, so by-hearted the, what you call, sorry, I was getting distracted, somebody was calling. So by-hearted the, theories, cleared the certification, but technical wise, when people go for interview, once somebody start asking about the real time deployment and all, they don't have the confidence. The reason is theoretically they have become very good, but because they have not spent time in the lab, they have not made their hands dirty. That is what is lacking. So I know a lot of people, or a lot of people who come to me, come from this kind of thing. They are already certified, multiple cloud, but they're still working on that XYZ domain. They have not even able to enter the cloud. And they have certification on AWS, Azure, Google. Still they're struggling. The reason then I realized, okay, the one is confidence, and confidence comes when you have more hands-on. When you play around with the technology, when you build, deploy, destroy, troubleshoot, that knowledge is different. Okay, that I cannot talk and explain you. That you have to feel it. When you start building, deploying, configuring, troubleshooting, the confidence that you get with that is different thing. Okay? That you can never get by reading a book or watching videos. No many how many hours you watch or read certain things. And that is what we promote. So point is, today I'm trying to start labs. That's post this, we'll get into the lab. But I have to explain you first the virtual network. So from next Saturday, at 90% time, we would be only in lab. So focus would be lab. For theory, you all already know, right? I'll send you a lot of WhatsApp links. Like I was creating a curated for you, right? Like again, watch. So this already I'm creating a curated. Then again, I'll send you a lot of links. Again, my sessions also will be recorded, previous sessions also. So point is there's no end of theory. Tons and tons of theory is there. But my focus is lab. So when we connect each Saturday, Sunday, we are talking about a situation where you have a customer, like today, customer was Flipkart, tomorrow someone else. We pick a situation and we build a story, and according to the customer, what customer want, and as per the customer, we are building that setup, whether it's network, whether you are deploying a VM, whether you are deploying the firewall, you are creating a DR backup. That is what we are doing it. And then 2 days we do that. Then Monday to Friday, I give you homework, do certain lab and come back. Then again, you do the lab, submit it. So here we do parallelly. There's no separate project work. Each lab, each workshop is project, if I break in that way. Because for us, each and every workshop, workshop is the fancy word I use, Saturday, Sunday that we connect. Each and everything would be workshop. That's how we are going to drive. So you all have to imagine that you are the cloud consultant or architect. You have a customer, this is a story, build the solution. That is how we are going to drive this for the next 10 weeks. In the end, whether you are going for interview or whether you have cleared the interview, now you have a customer in front of you, any part of the world, APAC, Africa, Middle East, Europe, North America, South America, any part of the world, does not matter. Right? We live in a global, right, economy. Or so any part of the world customer you have, they are talking about their pain point, and you need to come with how cloud can help them. So you have to understand the business, then deploy the technical, give them a technical solution, build, deploy, do all the best practice, follow them. That is the capability which we have to, that is the plan for us. Okay? So you should be able to meet any kind of customer, and whatever technical solution they need in cloud, we should be able to help them with that. And then you go for any interview or you go for any production environment, any escalation, suddenly you are called. You'll not struggle much. Always new problem, always will be new challenge, different story. But again, the knowledge that you would have, that you will cultivate by learning. And if you do for this 3 months, right, 10 weeks is like 2.5 to 3 months, more or less that will become your habit. So if you go to a gym for 3 months continuous, it becomes habit, right? More or less will continue, or you might drop in between. Same logic. My motto is to cultivate that habit in you all. And that's when I was talking about Gyan yesterday, like, spend 30 minutes daily. And 30 minutes means daily. There's no Eid, Deepavali, Christmas. 30 minutes means daily means daily. How you are going to steal that 30 minutes for you, it's up to you. So read blog, read customer story. For example, just talking about, this is the way I develop, not myself, one of my mentor. He educated me, and we all have mentors. Okay? We all need guidance. So this is what he suggested me, and I'm following that from now 2009. Okay? That time customer story server was not easy. That time we used to only have in our SharePoint portal. So from there he helped me, and now I have cultivated this habit, and I'm using cloud. For example, when you talk about VPC, virtual network, okay? AWS best practices. So if you use this keyword, we all should know how to Google, correct? So when you select this security best practices or VPC design best practices, read couple of best practice. Then you'll see couple of customer story. That's so you'll first thing you'll know about what is VPC, directory service, networks. Just read like news. Right? Even if you don't understand, read at least once. Right? Best way is what? Go to a customer. Right? So when we talk about, so if I go to the VPC, okay, AWS customer, right, story, okay, customer stories, like how a customer has used that VPC. So customer success case studies. So when you go through a customer case study, you have a lot of companies. See, Toyota, you have. So when you read those, one of the case studies, just an random example. When you read this case study, what happens? You'll know a actual company. Who is that? Toyota. Now you know what they used from the AWS, what was the pain point they have, and how AWS solution, the VPC or whatever we are talking about, how it helped them to reduce or address those pain points, how much money did they save. So first read the story, then start doing the lab. A lot of people do the lab, then start finding the case. I do the reverse. First know the value. Why I'm going to learn the network. What value is going to bring to the table. So once I know the value, naturally my learning approach will be different. I know the importance of that. Right? So that is the approach I take. So anything that you are learning, right? Always read one or two case study, at least one. Then try, then because now things are clear. You always have to ask three questions: what, why, where, or when. What is that? VPC, the virtual network. Right? That is the component. By help of VPC, you are building a virtual network in AWS cloud. Now, when, why you need it? What was the virtual network? Why you need it? You need VPC to make your component or services in AWS to talk to each other. Right? That's why you need VPC or virtual network. When do you need it? When you have multiple resources running in AWS. Okay? And you want to isolate one group of resources from other group of resources, you will create VPC. You want to make them to talk to each other, you will do VPC peering. You want to connect your virtual network from AWS to on-premise, you will build the VPN or direct access. Direct connect. Okay, direct connect is the word. Direct connect. Right? And again, you want to interconnect with third-party cloud. Again, cloud VPN. So these are the thing. What, why, when, or where. So if you have answer to this what, why, where, when, or where, things become more clear. Then start learning them. Then you can correlate. Always you will have a backward story. You know why you're doing it. Now you go for any interview, let them put whatever kind of real-time question. Always you'll use your logical approach. You'll not just randomly give them the answer. Okay, this is situation. I'll check this. I'll check this. I'll check this. And you can go and you can do a better troubleshooting if you are they are giving you a real time problem, because you know how things work. So that is the approach that we take or I take when I'm teaching anyone, right? And again, remember, it's like again shared responsibility. So there's certain responsibility, me as a teacher or mentor, right? Where I'm mentoring and you are like my mentees or student. So certain responsibility is that I have to guide you in right direction, talk about best practice, do and don'ts, right? Everything has limitation, right? So what we can do, what is the limitation, then what that particular feature is, what is the compliances, governance and all, right? Then again, your responsibility as a mentee is work on them, right? Whatever demos we are doing, spend more time, do more R&D. If you get stuck, that is the best thing, believe me. So as and when you get stuck in lab, that's the best thing happening to you. Come back, first try to troubleshoot yourself. Google it, ask in the WhatsApp group later on, right? You will be all added to the WhatsApp group. Discuss, help each other. Don't give up. Right? Google. Right? When you're Googling, then you will start learning more. First, you'll use your own logical thinking. Not able to fix, Google. Not able to fix, come to the WhatsApp group. Ask question others also. Now, this is when you are giving opportunity to others. They'll also Google, or if they know, they'll help you. If not, we all, then again, nobody's able to help. I'll come, or if somebody's giving you wrong answer, I'll come and correct them. So it's not about slowing anyone down. It's about learning from. We all can learn from each other. Sometimes I can be wrong, right? It can. So it's not that I know everything. Somewhere I'll not know. So you can always correct me. There's no harm in that. So that is the approach which we take. So our goal is simple. Only one goal, we want to learn. The rest, everything is secondary. So sorry for this long yarn, but that is what we are planning for the next 10 weeks. Hope this answers your question. So the core goal is to be a better cloud architect, consultant, SME. And to be that, we have to clear 3 milestones. One is the official certification, and then the interview, and do better in the job wherever you work. And remember, we all also will give you website certification, but believe me, take my word, it has zero value. So all the certification that you get from Simply Learn, Websun, or anyone training institute, they don't have value. They are zero value. Sorry for being blunt. What is valuable? The certification that you get from AWS or Azure or Google, they only have value. Rest are nobody cares. So core goal in certification would be for the official certification, right? Rest everything, nobody cares actually. They are not valuable also. So that will be our core goal. Sometime certain companies, they don't need certification, then you can parallelly start applying for a job and crack. And if we crack the interview and get into job, do better. Certain places, they would ask you certified engineers only. That time you have to get certified. There's no option. That is one of the requirement. So that is what we would do. Right? We have to always understand the situation, what company want, what market want. Right? According to the market, we have to adjust our pace. Right? And then only you can grab that opportunity, no matter which part of the world you are. Imagine somebody searching job in Europe. You have to know European market. In Europe, it's a big market. Where do you want to go? Germany, Netherlands, France, UK, Ireland, where? You cannot have universal, right? So you have to focus that market. Or you want to move to Canada already, or you have the work permit and you are planning to move down the line, maybe US, maybe Australia, maybe Middle East, maybe Singapore, or maybe within India. So you have to practice according to that market. So understanding the market is important. Knowing what market want is important. Then only we can, channelize or channel our energy. Just working hard is not enough. But remember, work hard, because that is the most important thing in life. There's no shortcut. I don't believe in them. But same time, I'm trying to tell, only working hard is not going to help you. With that little bit smartness, you should know. The word is cunningness. We all have to be cunning, correct? Because we are trying to make a life or living out of it. So we should know, we should have a proper study of the market. which technology doing well, what if I spend daily half an hour for so and so technology, what is the return I'm going to get? That's how I calculate. I calculate, okay, I'm spending learning in technology, I'm earning so much money per year or per month. How much more money I learn next year or next month when I switch the job? So keeping Gyan aside, I know in India to pay my home EMI, the loan, correct? The car EMI, I need money. I hope it's the same with we all. So we have to be logical. We need a better life. We need a better life. And for that, if you have a knowledge, no matter which part of the world you go, so always focus on the knowledge. And when you get a better profile, better project, naturally money will come. But same time, I'm not telling that compromise on money. No, why should we? Right? When you're putting a hard effort, we should not compromise anywhere. But same time, the core focus should be knowledge and better profile. If you have knowledge, you get a better profile. 99% time, package will be always good. So that is the core focus. So understand the country or city where you are planning to work, which technology is doing better, what they're asking you. That's when I was showing you for people who did not join yesterday. This is when I went. Right? I went to this the LinkedIn. You can do it from Monster, Naukri, whichever you like. I like LinkedIn. So I went to LinkedIn. I typed it AWS architect, right, for example. So when I typed AWS architect, now put the city or country of your choice. It picked India for me default. Now again, I can pick which company. Like this is like companies which I like, just for sake of example. Now only I'll select the companies which I like. Then I'll select more company like Wells Fargo and all. So basically, you can create a dream list here and only target those companies. You can do that. So or again, if I want, I'll narrow down the search. I'll pick here Bangalore. Imagine I'm picking Singapore. If I want to relocate to Singapore, pick Singapore. So my end goal is that I want to get a job in Singapore. So I should know Singapore market, which are the companies who are hiring, what they want, what is the JD, read them. So when you read the JD and all that, so it becomes easier for you, and then you will know the time that you're spending is in right technology, right domain or not. So this becomes important, right? So if you go here, Siemens, for example, check here, read the JD, what they want, right? And then make a list of what company want, what you know, and try to fill the gap. So this is the approach I would suggest to every one of you. So only working hard is not enough, right? But remember, there's no alternative of hard work. Hard work is the most important thing in life. So I don't know any alternative. So hard work is the most important, but same time, only hard work would not help you. You have to do a proper market survey, and nobody can do it. I'm just guiding you. In the end, you have to do your own because you know where you are, you know your own dream, where you want to go. So make a plan. If you don't have a plan, then naturally, okay, they're saying that you will fall in someone else's plan. So have a plan, have a dream, then have a plan, then execute it. Right? Put a timeline, 3 months. Typically, I tell everyone 3 months, 90 days, and give your heart and soul to that. You'll get the result. You'll you'll never complain, believe me. Right? So you'll see the impact because you are serious about whatever you do. The same like people join gym. How many people really continue gym? How many people get really six pack? Same way here also. I'm not to offend you guys. Like yesterday, I had 34 people one point in time, or 30 people. Today, I have 18 people. By the 10th week, I'll have 4 to 6 people. You get the idea, right? So this happens always. So when I run for Google, in one session, I'll have like 3,000 people, global workshop I'm running. By end of 12th session, it will be 600 or 700. So around 70 to 80% people drop off. Even in this will happen in this session, this batch. You see today, okay? 18 people, right? Maybe down the line, 10th week will be 6 or 8 people, worst case. If I'm doing really good, 8 people. So it's not about trying to demoralize anyone, but this is what happens. Same like gym, okay? Because here you need dedication, you need to be really serious, or there's fire under your chair. Already you are irritated wherever you work, you are struggling and you want to change the situation. That can be another motivation factor. That if that is the motivation factor, not that also help us to grow faster. So that was the this is our approach. So this gyan I'll keep on giving in between, and of course my core goal is to help each and every one of you wherever you are, whatever position you work. Now we have to think about go to next position. That would be our core goal. Okay, and we'll work towards that. But let's take one step at a time. As of now, the focus would be to become good in this certification. Somewhere I had this certification thing, yeah, or somewhere I moved. Right? So here, this is what we are focusing as of now. Right? The AWS Solution Architect Associate. So focus is to learn the subject, become comfortable on the subject. Then no matter whatever interview, whichever company you go, right, you'll do better. But they come with a pain. And the reason why I'm trying to not to demotivate, but to test your patience is we'll spend more time in lab because I don't know any other shortcut. Right? That is the only thing works with me, and I can talk something which I know works. I cannot give you fake or random hope because I'm not sure, right? Because I have to face you even after 10th week or maybe next year. Couple of student I see they are coming in. I know you from like 3-4 years, or one student I know him from like 9 years. So that kind of relationship can be is only possible when certain things are working. So in one word, we have to spend a lot of time in lab. That is the only thing works for me or works with my student. Another thing to tell you, see, when you go for any job, you will not be the only one. Right? Coming back here, even if you're applying for a Singapore job, just random story. Seen it? So see here, there 1 week back, 199 people have applied. So always you'll have a competition, and competition is huge actually. But we don't have to worry. We have to be best one. So if you are best by default, you'll get selected. So no matter any good thing has a cost or is tough to get. If it becomes easy, then it will lose the value, correct? Same way here. So any position that you apply here, see 1 month, but here cyber security, very less people are there, so less competition. Right? Because very less people are there with the cloud side. But again, not suggesting you to jump now. Take time. First become good in cloud, then only you can think about cloud security or cyber security. Same way here, if you pick any solution architect, this and all 90 application, 1 month. So lot of wherever you apply, competition will be the 4 days back itself, 8 people. So naturally you are going to compete with them. So whether you apply job in India, Europe, wherever you apply, Africa, wherever you are from, and you want to apply there, you would have to compete. And you can only win when you know the subject, technical knowledge. Theory, a lot of people know. And all the interview go, and also what we'll do from the 7th week onwards, I'll start forcing you to attend interviews. Because I'm talking Gyan, so give me another 10 minutes. Let me talk more Gyan. I thought I'll start the lab, but okay, lab we can start from Friday, next Saturday, I mean. So other thing to remember, from 7th week, I'll ask you guys to attend interview. Okay, sometimes I force you. The reason why I do that, imagine you're working for a company or you're really happy with the job. But still, I suggest you to attend interview. Attending interview is not only about getting job. It is about knowing the market, how market is behaving, knowing yourself, whether you are able to clear a technical round or not. If you're not able to clear, where you are getting stuck. So if you don't do a reality check, you'll always assume you know everything. Right? So doing a reality check is important. Then only we can know the gap or loophole. Then we can work towards that. So in beginning 7th week, I know you're not ready. We are still learning. So the smartness or the cunningness would be, do not apply to your dream company. For example, if I'm applying for a job, now I'm working for Google and I want to switch to a better company. I want to go to AWS or Microsoft or company who can give me better work-life balance, better money, better position. That is where I'll try. Naturally, I'll try to grow. I'll not try to come down. So that is what you all would do. So when you are doing that, what we need to do, so you'll not apply to dream company. For me, the dream company was the AWS or the Microsoft or the Wells Fargo, just random example. So I'll avoid these 3 companies. I'll apply everywhere else. In beginning, why I'm doing that? Because I'm not ready. So so I'll avoid, you all would avoid your dream company. So I'll force you to make your dream quiz or dream companies, 8 or 15 or 10 or 20 companies where you dream of working. We all have favorites, right? So make the list of those favorite companies. We'll keep on watching how many jobs are opening there, but we'll not try them in beginning. In beginning, we'll attend 4-5 other companies interview where we don't want to work. Why we are doing that? Warm up match. Remember, when you go and play a cricket World Cup, football World Cup, before they actually play World Cup, they'll play a practice session, warm up match. Same approach. So what happens when you go for 4 to 5 interviews, a smaller company, startup companies, or whatever they are, you're confident. First thing, you'll know what they're asking, what kind of question you are getting. Second thing, your confidence will build. You'll make mistake in initial 1-2 interviews, and that we cannot do it with the major company, because if you do that 6 months, you cannot apply. So we lose the opportunity. So in beginning, you'll apply to smaller companies or companies where you have no motto to work, but still you're applying, just you want to test your knowledge, warm up match. And when you attend 4-5 companies, your fear factor will reduce. It will not go away, but you'll become more bold. And also you'll know which is the loophole and you'll try to work on them. And then we'll start, when you have completed everything, then we'll start targeting our dream companies at post 90 days or whenever you are ready. Now, cracking the job with your dream companies becomes easier because you have done all the prep work. You have spent days and days, hours and hours in lab. You have gone through the theory. You have gone through the multiple interviews. Somewhere you passed, somewhere you failed, but everything was learning. And from all those hard work, now you're applying for your dream companies. So this is the approach I do on myself. I'm the my own guinea pig. Then if it works, I suggest to my student, and if it keeps on working, I keep on promoting the same approach. So far, not so far, last 10, 12 years, this is what I have been promoting. This is what I have been doing. It works with me and all my students so far. Nobody has complained, right? So try it out. In case if it does not work, let me know. We'll find some other way, right? So this is the approach what we are going to take in next 10 weeks, okay? And all of you kind of somewhere I'm like Hitler, but not the best reference to give. So kind of very strict. So ask you to put a timeline. Imagine you are starting today being the 2nd April, put a 90 days goal. Having a goal or timeline is important. If you don't put that goal, timeline, right? So calculate the 90 days. Within 90 days, you are supposed to get ready, interview ready, or you should crack 1 or 2 interview. So I give people 90 days to 120 days, 3 to 4 month max. That's what I suggest you not to drag. If you drag, you lose the momentum, you lose the energy, you lose your hope, you'll start doing something else. So go with a momentum. So take a target of 90 days or 120 days max. So 90 days you are telling, okay, I'll complete everything. Then 1 month only for interview. Right? So within the 4th month, you should have 4-5 or more offer letter. Again, another thing, I don't believe in a single offer letter. Always you should have 2 or more. When you have 2 or more offer letter, then we do have something to discuss, to choose. If you come with 1 offer letter, what do we discuss? What do we choose? That's the only option, right? So we should come with 2 or more offer letters. Then we can check which is better, because you cannot switch company daily, correct? Does not make sense. So when we have 4-5 offer letter or 2 or more, then we can compare, we can check the review, how is the pay, how is the growth, how is the work culture, and then pick the best company. Because wherever you pick, you have to stay for 1.5 year, 2 year or more, right? So you need to have a healthy work environment, growth, better money, better position. We need everything. So this is the approach that we take, and then only we can become successful. So other point here is, see, whatever I'm going to teach you, nothing new. Only new is the approach. Not new for you, it will be new, but this is what I have been doing for a long run. So the only approach would be new for you. Rest everything I'm going to teach you the same thing. Same content you get in the Udemy, same content you get in the YouTube. My session is only helpful if you are really serious about changing the current condition wherever you are. You want to get into the core cloud technology. Then only join. If not, you can get the entire thing that for free. Even I'll keep on publishing everything in that we keep on publishing. After certain time, we make everything free. Or you can get a lot from Simply Learn also you can go, or cloud. There are a lot of companies, right? They publish everything in YouTube. Or you can buy 200 rupees or 300 rupees from Udemy, right? If you are looking for only for theory. But we know, you all know they're not enough, right? But again, I'm just trying to tell you. So when you come to my workshop, be ready to do lab. There's no shortcut that works. And I'm talking from experience. Right? I have been teaching from 2008. So now 15 years or 14 and a half, something, right? Close to that. And I have been working in IT from 2004, 2004 October, close to that. So I know things which works, I know things that does not work, and so on. So 2003, 2014, sorry, 2004 something, that's the reason the 19 and a half, right? Yeah. So I know now certain things work, certain things does not work. So I'm talking from the experience. I have tried, failed a number of times. It's not that I'm more smart. It's just that I have made more mistake than whatever you can imagine, right? So that's what I'm trying to educate. You don't do the same mistake. So that is was the Gyan for today. Let's open for the question. Sorry for talking and talking, but I hope I made sense. If not, let me know the question. I will try to change the definition or what you call the example and try to convince you in some other way. So any other question? Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Okay, sorry, my voice is still not good. I have not got
Okay,
a email from you, sir, for
I can make it
yesterday's.
out. I can make it out. Do not worry. Okay. And
Yeah.
whenever you get time, what I'll the solution that I take 1 teaspoon honey,
Okay.
pinch of turmeric. That'll
Okay.
fix your throat condition faster. Try that if
Okay.
it works. Yeah, go ahead
Okay.
with your question.
Yeah, I have not got your email yesterday, sir.
Can you drop a mail? So I have sent everyone, but still, correct? If let me make this bigger,
Yeah.
just drop a hi hello mail to this mail, correct? sanjeev@website.com.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
just drop me hi hello mail. So uh, even I was able to collect all the mail I have sent everyone, but in case I have missed you or anyone who has not received mail from me, just drop a mail to sanjeev@website. Correct? Any text mail, write whatever, correct? I'll know that you are my student and I'll reply to that.
Okay. I am doing it right away, sir.
Sure, no problem. Now,
And I have a
any,
question,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
do we need to like concentrate on CCP, or is it okay to? I mean, is it okay to skip CCP, sir? So because like it's I'm a like a beginner for C and cloud. So as you mentioned, you will cover in the solution architect. So can I skip the CCP or like side by side? Can I prepare for CCP
Do
as well?
you you come prepare for my class. End of the day, you will be able to write the cloud practitioner plus you will be able to write the AWS solution architect associate. You'll be able to cover both. If you have planned to write it, so end of this session, you'll be able to clear both the certification. So you
Okay,
don't have to put some extra time only for the cloud practitioner, not required. Just focus on this learning. Right? You will be able to complete both the certification as and when you want to write.
done, sir.
Now, any other question from anyone? Okay, so then I have homework. The homework which I have for you, correct? You all here. Now, next week, this is what I would love to start with. Correct? I'll get into the VPC, the virtual networking. It will go with the virtual networking. So when you talk about the AWS VPC, but let's do the homework and come back. So when you talk about the AWS VPC, this will be our focus. What is the virtual private cloud? Basically, we'll talk on the virtual networking. creating a virtual network, creating the subnet, creating the firewall, okay? Creating the NAT gateway, creating the your VPN, creating the application load balancer, creating the network load balancer, and so on. Right? The internet gateway, the route table, all associated relevant topics from the network we are going to decide. So just read this like basic news. Just read this, not whole thing. Just read till here, and let me. So this is what I'll be teaching. If you, even if you skip, nothing to worry. But if you can just have a glance, that will be helpful. But let me give you the homework, but this is not the actual homework, right? So okay, let me mention. So, and I have a habit of giving homework, because if you watch those videos and come back, it becomes, so first week I don't have any lab for you. First week is all about theory. So we would learn networking. Now there are like lot 4 or 5 people who are developers. Okay, Java. I know 2 of you are Java developers, 18, 13, one is 13 years, one other is 8 years, then 2 of you are like .NET or Angular, I guess. So 4 to 5 people are core developers. So you would be imagining why we should learn networking. You have to learn network, right? Remember, we live in the world of microservice architecture. Right? So when you talk about microservice architecture, it's a distributed architecture where one component will talk to another component. So if you don't understand networking, how do you build microservice architecture? If something breaks, how do you fix it? So basic knowledge of networking is required for we all. Whether you're a developer, whether you are DevOps guy, whether you are coming from infrastructure side, everyone should know networking. It's not it's not added advantage, like kind of pre-requirement nowadays. Basic knowledge is should. But same time, you don't have to become a CCNA expert or network expert. We should know basic. For that, I'll give you three, what you call the homework, 3 videos. I have a friend of mine. I know him from 2007 actually. Sorry, 2009. Not bad. So Eli, right? So he teaches everything for free, and he has the Eli the computer, right? Computer guy. That is the website, and this is what I'll suggest you. So if I go back to this particular place, networking. If I go back, let me see. This is what format I wanted. So here I want you to cover 3 things. The OSI model, around 20 minutes. Right? So if I click on OSI model, see 18 minutes. What is OSI layer? So people coming from server network, you already know. You can skip. If not, rewatch it. Do as a rehearsal. So this will be the first thing. Right? First video as a homework. Right? This is the first video homework. Second video, 20 minutes, not too much time will take. Second one is, another is basic of networking. Where did it go? Somewhere. Okay. So networking, this is the one. Networking introduction. Why do we need, what is network? Why do we need network? Actually, this should come first. So let me go to here. So I'll make this video as a first. Okay. So second, this will be good. And then the other thing would be what you call, this is one. And where did I go? Networking. Then we have subnetting. This is the one. These are the only 3. This will be third one. What is subnetworking? How do you break a network? Subnet, creating subnetwork. Okay, CIDR. What is public IP, private IP? Right? So how do you break network into subsets like subnetwork? How do you calculate what is class full IP address, classless IP address? So those basic things. So close to 1 hour. So 2 of the videos were like close to 20 minutes, and the third one is 1 hour. So give or take, if I do the round figure, 2 hours. Right? Imagine that here 20, then again 1 hour 10 minutes. So if I do the round, so 2 hours, this is the homework for you all. Right? So this is what we'll do. Now, what you all need to do, I need to share you all of this, right? And share you the, share your details to the backup, or what you call, my support team. So request to all of you is send a mail. That even though I'll collect the mail and send to all of you. So one request to all of you, send a mail to me so that I can share you all the homework and details. Some reason chat, I'm struggling. I was not able to enable it. And also people who are really interested to continue with the journey, their details only I'll share to the my backend team, because I don't want you to someone unwanted, we don't force anyone. People who are really interested, they would only continue with our training or my training. People, they're okay, okay, I give you, okay, you can learn a lot of things, you can keep on watching my channel, okay, you can learn, do a self-paced training. But now for the workshop, the first weekend we keep it free. The yesterday and today was free. From next class, the Saturday, next Saturday onwards, it will be only for people who are really interested, and it becomes the paid one, right? So you have option. So that is where that we focus. So people who are interested can let us know, drop a mail, and I'll give you the homework. Also mention that you are interested for the class. So then only, and mention your phone number, email address. Of course, when you're writing, I'll know your email address. Mention our phone number so that I can share with my backend team, and the backend team can coordinate with you and can, share you all those details. So that's all I had for today. Right? And thank you all for your time. But still, I'll be here in this call for some more time. In case if anyone has question, let me know and let me help you accordingly. So any question, concerns that you have, right, let me know and I can guide you accordingly. So let's open for the question. So, but next week onwards, one more reminder. So people who are coming to session workshop, right, connect with your laptop or desktop. From phone, it will not work because I'll make you to do lab. Kind of very strict on that. If you skip lab, my class is of zero value. It's useless actually, frankly speaking. So if you are really serious, then when you are connecting next session, please do not connect from your phone. You can connect from phone, but be in front of your system, because we all would do lab parallelly. I'll make you to do each and every lab parallelly. We'll talk about theory. I'll explain a theory. I'll explain do and don't. I'll do the lab and you will do lab parallelly with me. And so that if you get stuck, you'll raise your hand. I'll tell you to switch your or share your screen. Then if somebody gets stuck, we'll see his or her screen. We'll troubleshoot one by one. And that way we all will learn again from that mistake. Right? And that is the approach I take. And that's reason sometimes it becomes slow. But believe me, that is the most effective way that I have learned, right? And this helps in long run. So people, please log in with your, connect to our session with from your system, the laptop, desktop, because phone or tab will not help you. How do you do lab from phone? To very small screen, right? So tab also not so good, because when I'm asking you to build something, tab will not be helpful. So desktop or laptop becomes the best way to do lab. Remember, will not install anything in your desktop or laptop. Even if you have company's desktop laptop, nothing to worry, will not install anything. But you need a bigger screen and keyboard to do the lab in the cloud. Small screen or not having keyboard access becomes, life becomes really difficult. So any question from anyone?
Sanjeev, how much is
Yeah.
the fees for the course?
So I'm not sure, but again, you can go and check the go to websun.com. Okay, so you can always go to websun.com. But again, I would when they call, you can always, you can negotiate with them and they'll give you a rate. Okay, so you can always go to this courses here and go to this AWS associate. This is the track which we are talking about. And when you go to the AWS associate, I think I'm there. Okay, not there. So some reason it's kind of stuck. Yeah. So when I go to this, slow. So from there you can find detail. Go to websun, vepsun.com, and go to the click on courses, click on the AWS Solution Architect Associate, and there you'll get detail. But remember one mistake, I'm a bit lazy, I did not get time. I have not updated the content from the C003. So the content what you see is most of them from everything from the C002, but the certification paper has been upgraded to C003. So around 20% new component is coming, which I'm supposed to add. This weekend I thought, but I did not get time. I was traveling yesterday and today. Let's see if I get time. During the weekdays, I'll update this new content here. But teaching wise, I'm going to teach you the AWS Solution Architect Associate C003. So you can get details from here. Or when my people are calling, when you are sharing your mail and phone number, naturally they'll call you, and then you can again work with them, then they'll give you a rate, better rate, right, or discount in case if you want. You're good?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. So any other question from anyone? If not, then we are good. Remember, I'll send you the homework. This will be the homework. Right? Like you can also go and search from Eli. But anyway, I'll be sending you the homework list. So this will be homework. This will be just to review. Right? Review, and this will be this you need to watch. Complete this 3. This is what you'll watch and complete these 3. So this is what I want you all people joining me next week to watch these 3, because next week I'll not teach you what is public IP, private IP. Those are basic requirement, right? You should know them. So watching them, those things will be clear. Then we'll start talking about the VPC creation, subnet creation, right? Firewall rule creation, VPC peering. So if you know the basic CIDR, the classless interdomain routing, subnet calculation and all, okay? When I write 10.0.0.0/24, what does it mean? When I write /23, what does it mean? And so on. So then if you have done this prep work, and then when I'm teaching you the calculation of the subnet, I can be faster, I can make more sense, you can correlate with whatever I'm talking, and there'll be no gap. Or okay. So that is the reason. Watch these 3 things. It will make my life as a teacher easier, and your life as a student easier to digest whatever I'm trying to teach you. It's like win-win situation. So every week, along with lab, I'll give you certain videos to watch, so that when you watch those things, next weekend we'll talk on them. So it becomes easy for teacher and learner both. We are good. So if any question, let me know. If not, we are good for the day. Okay. So I hope there's no question. So anyone, let me know. If not, we would connect the next Saturday, and I look forward to connect with you all the next Saturday. Okay? Come back, do the lab, come back with questions. So whenever you are watching them, you have certain question, come back, right? And that is what we can again discuss post every session of official time. Okay? Generally, I take initially 2.5 hours, then sometime we increase to 3 hours, depending on the how much patience you have to digest that day. In beginning, we don't try to drag for 3 hours because it can become tiresome. Okay, so I try to hold to like 2.5 hours, right, or 1.5 hour, and then gradually we increase the pace. So thank you all for your time, and I look forward to connect with you all the coming week or weekend. Thanks once again, everyone.
Thanks, Sanjeev.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.